Hey there, welcome back to Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks. We're on episode 5, and I just have an extremely lucrative contract coming up. Watch this. We have a contract for the British. They want an infantry tank. They have more than proven their worth, but new designs must be adopted to face coming wars. They want something with protection, hard firepower, and reliability. I don't have a typical infantry tank, not as the British have it with their land ships. But I do have the T-34 V1, V2, and, well, essentially the V3. Watch this. They like it so much, they're willing to give it a success score of 2600. Because it has an enormous amount of protection, and I'm getting lots and lots of points from that. The next best tank is going to be this one at 2853, and the ideal is going to be the T-34 V2. The thing is, I don't need this much success score. So I'm just going to go with a cheaper version, which especially with man hours is going to save me about 10%. Very valuable. I'm not even going to check what the competitor is offering. I don't care. I just want to make sure that I can milk this contract for as much as it's worth. Building 102 tanks though? Yeah, that might take me a minute. But if I get it done, it's a $7 million contract. That's the type of stuff that I like to see. We're going to be getting a nice revenue and reputation boost. However, Austria, Hungary, China, and the Empire of Ethiopia aren't quite going to like it. Tough. I like money, and I especially like 7 million in bucks. What I'm also working on right now is shipping the British a whole bunch of Tetrarchs. And I'm shipping them 99 of those for another 4.6 million. This is an ongoing project, and I therefore really need the extension as much as possible on that new upcoming contract. To make sure that I have that, I went into the legal center and I said I want to get the maximum delivery clause. I want to make sure that I can extend the duration of that contract as long as possible, so I get 15 bonus days, or about 2 weeks and change. I also have the insider clause enabled. I don't think I really need it, because this time around I'm not interested in looking at the competitors' tanks, but hey, maybe some future time I will be interested. The production hall right now is busy. And it's going to be very busy. The Brits like the tank. They want the contract done by me. Yeah, we're going to have to ship a lot of materials in order to build that many tanks. Because they wanted 102. Good lord. Buy me the resources for 102 tanks. Which is going to cost me about 400k if I ship it in from Oceania. Europe usually charges about double. Let's say the Middle East, 13 days, because I still have some resources, so we can at least start production. As I am working on the tanks and the contracts, I'm also upgrading some depots here and there. I don't really care about the tank depot or the stockpiling, but I do want to have a higher delivery focus, so that I don't constantly have those delays, especially as things are, well, getting pretty tight with deadlines. Sometimes it's very close to what I think I can get away with, and that sometimes gets me into trouble. I got 51 Tetrarchs. How many do I still have to deliver? Probably less than 51. I have 41 days. Let's just make it one enormous delivery. There's the resources. Okay. So now we should have almost all the Tetrarchs ready, and we can start looking into the T-34s. Building 100 of those things is going to take me a minute. 77 days on one production line. I have 112 days. See, this is going to be a tight operation. I want to build... How much time do I need to ship? I think 4 days. So let's put as much into this production line as possible. I can get away with 46. Go. In a few days, we'll have the rest of the line also operational. Let's squeeze more people into the production line. Well, not into, but, you know, just crank it out. Okay, how many Tetrarchs we got ready? 61. I still need a few more, which is going to take me 22 days. Okay, I don't really care about the United States contract. I don't have time to build it. This is going to take 46. We need to ship a lot more. We need to ship 102. Let's start getting the other production line going with, say, 35 tanks. No? Why can I not do that? I do have the resources, right? That's curious. Why can I not build more than 4 tanks? Is that because... Oh, my tank storage is going to be full. Ah, yes. I imagine that would be a problem. Okay, fine. Let's start shipping the tanks out. Get some room, because we need room right now. I'm going to go with the 60, and I'll ship that out. Making sure that we immediately have room to produce more. More. Always more tanks. There we go. Now we can build about 30 more. 87 days. Is that acceptable? Yes. But we're going to be cutting it real close. I might even go a little over the contract. Which is survivable. Because I have that nice margin of error. And I get 30 days in which I'm going to have a late fee. But I'm willing to accept that. Ugh, another delay. Come on. Can I boost this anymore? This is already getting built. I'm really maxing out on the amount of buildings that I have. The facility slots. Let's upgrade this. It's only a percentage. A minor upgrade. But hey, I'll take as much as I can get. Ideally, I'd throw another administrator in here. Maybe actually I can. That's reliability, engineers per line. I don't care for that. The design bureau, what do you do? Workers per line, 50. Hey, Sean, get over here. Because the more workers we have on the line, the better it's going to be for me. I cannot hire anybody else. That's unfortunate. Contract number 52. Serbia wants tanks. Well, sorry, I don't really have the time. We got 5 tetrarchs, and I still need a few more. There's that delivery. Now they need 9 more tanks delivered, and we should be seeing bank again. Hardening focus upgraded. Good. Fire. Oh no! Casualties suffered as well. This is going to set me back 15 days. Everything's on hold, including the upgrade. I think I have the best fire department. I already upgraded fire focus to max, so this should prevent fires, but we're still getting them. Also, yeah, let's get that upgraded. How many workers did I lose? Hire more. I know I can't employ them right now. I don't really have a place to work. I just want to keep getting more people in. Let's change the focus right now from the insider clause. I'm going to cancel that for now. And I do want to have the labor clause so I can start hiring more people. Increase a monthly rate of worker candidates. Let's get that. It's nice to have some money to play around with. Otherwise, I would be in trouble. Really? We need 1 more tetrarch built. 1 more. And because this damn fire, now I'm not going to be in time. Because this is going to take me 12 days to fix. Oh, come on. That sucks. Lots of new contracts being thrown around. Come on, I don't need the fire. Yes, I'm going to turn all that off. World events. Sometimes the game keeps giving you way too many pop-ups. Military developments, off. Okay, now we need 6 days to build to build 4 tetrarchs. No, we just need to build 1. There. Now we can ship these things out the door as quickly as we possibly can. Get the tetrarchs out, get another 4 million. We need to get these things out in 2 days. Yikes. Delivery speed, 2 days, with a potential delay for 2 days. Ooh. This is going to be a right on time delivery. Yes! Done. Without delay. Cha-ching! Up to 8 million. Progress. As for research progress, it's completely overlooked. I was so busy with production hall that I forgot these. I'm currently working on researching the heavy Churchill. I'm not sure if it's not immediately going to be superfluous. Because this thing, yes, it might be impermeable to anti-tank fire, but it's slow. These things really typically don't have a high speed. Maybe if I throw a better engine in, like a heavy diesel, I can make something happen. And I'm also going to focus on the heavy running gear, which I think we might need in order to drive that big behemoth. So let's get the engineers working on that. It was tight, but we got it done. Contract complete. And now we're up to almost $15 million. How about that? Monthly balance is looking quite nice. And sure enough, we are still burning a decent amount of money. But hey, at least we're making profits. Lots and lots of profits, as far as I'm concerned. The next order of business is more research. I have now set 3 admins on this building, so I can get 53 engineers per. And that should speed things along nicely. We now have access to the new heavy Churchill Mark 1. I doubt we can actually drive that with the vehicles that we have available to us right now, especially the tracks and the engine. So ideally, wait another almost 4 months and get that thing going. We can already get it improved to the heavy Churchill 2. It's improved to support a wider turret ring and thicker turrets. This hull keeps its great armor, but also its poor mobility. Yes, what else can we do to boost it? We can give it a long barrel. It's going to take 132 days. And does that fit into a turret, I wonder? Maybe the rearmed turret. The close support one. Maybe that's going to fit that long barrel gun. Let's see. I'd like to design a Churchill for this time. A little research later, we have some more parts for the heavy Churchill Mark 1. I don't really know what the purpose of this tank is going to be, so let's at least set up a tank roll to have some guidance of what it's going to be. I think it doesn't really fit the role of any of these tanks, though. Maybe an infantry tank? Those are the ones that are not supposed to be very mobile. Or rather, they don't really care about it. They just want a lot of protection, they want a lot of firepower, and they want it to be a reliable tank. Other units typically have a bit more requirements along the lines of I want speed, I want to have a mix of hard and soft firepower, maybe a bunker smasher for the French, but no, I'm going to say it's an infantry tank for the British. Which means we will have a couple of rule requirements. We need to make sure that these things are heavily protected. The front thickness is 72, and if I am reading this correctly, what they would like it to be is 80. Thankfully, with some more modern casting techniques, I can probably get up to a higher standard, maybe without making it terribly heavy. What can I do to make this thing better? I can easily get the better welding technology for it. This one is only going to add 1%. It's only going to add 0.1 volume, but it does give you more kinetic resistance. There. The radio hasn't really changed much. The high-powered beams haven't really changed much. We got the high-power headlight now. The hatch, it's a tier 2-4. I think it's going to be the best one we have available. Then we have those spaced flaps, which probably aren't going to eat too many grenades, if any. And of course, if somebody got that close, then, well, we already have other issues. We carry 54 shells aboard this tank and 54... I'm not going to say 54 rounds for the machine gun, but 54 ammo cap. So this tank, yeah, I'd say it's going to be pretty decent. However, we still need to work on that armor thickness. They want 80. Oh, actually, sorry, they want 72. I have 80, so I'm already better. Front ricochet, 60. The only thing that they might want to have improved is the structure. The structure. Is there anything I can do to actually improve that? That one. I'm getting a little higher, but I'm still not getting to 37. Hopefully I can make up with that, or for that, with that higher front ricochet and the kinetic resistance that this tank is now going to offer. If I want to, I can make it more armored. I'm not so sure that's going to be valuable for this tank. You can push it all the way up to 97 armor, at the expense, of course, of a much heavier tank. You're adding 6,500. I'm not doing that. So we're going to go back to the design and see if they will use this. Roll attributes. This one's fine. Everything in the green is good. As for the engine, I now have access to some pretty beefy engines. I'm going to just set to tier 3. We have access to the VAR, the V2 VAR. That is this engine. That engine's capable of driving up to 32,500 tons. Sorry, 32,400. That, I think, is a pretty decent choice for this one. This doesn't really have the power, especially since we still need to add tracks and a turret. Though, yeah, I think this is the better choice here. This probably doesn't have the power. At 26 tons, it could be It could be possible, but things over here tend to add up quickly, especially as you want to drive this thing. You need some really heavy tracks. And look at that. These things have a weight of 9,200. I don't think I can drive it with a T34 track. Well, I can. The WW2 can support up to 36.4. So you can make a Churchill with T34 tracks. Given that, is that useful? This makes it all the way up to 52 tons. Extremely heavy. I don't think it changes that much for the specs though. Like, it changes the weight. And they do want a mass that's not terribly heavy. Maximum accepted for this roll. Exceeding it will result in penalties. So they want 24. I'm already at 27. That means this thing is going to be real heavy. Real heavy. I'm going to have to make up for having a heavier tank with some other specs. I mean, an infantry tank, yeah, it supports the infantry. This is more of a bunker smasher. So I get that they don't really like the components that I'm throwing in there. If I go with the AEK... I'm not really sure what engine to pick here. This is going to make it pretty beefy. For now, I got a better power to weight ratio than what I need. Let's throw a turret on there. I could even throw a T-34 turret into the mix, which looks ridiculously out of place. That's never stopped me before, though. You could just make it a scout tank, I guess. But if you want to have a gun on there, you're going to have to bring something else. I'm going to bring this one, because it has lots of armor. And that's going to fit a gun. We now have access to the F-34, that's from 1938. And we got the 1939 Modern. And 490, 513. Oh! Oh dear. Oh dear. If you're going to give me that choice, you know that I'll make that choice. What's better than one gun? 2 guns? Why would you want it? I don't know. I just work here. Firepower, hard. Not quite sufficient, but we don't have crew. So that stat's going to change. We need more accuracy on the gun. That's going to come from the gunner. Boom. We need more rate of fire. That's going to come from the loader. Almost there. So our specs are better than requested. Our reliability is still shit though. The power unit, the running gear, and the structure, they're all pretty bad. So if I want to get this thing approved with its current weight, I'm going to have to do something a little different. As for that last crew member, do I even need it? Oh yeah, I do need a mechanic. Okay, you are going to be the mechanic. You're going to be the loader, I think. Yes. Oh, we don't have enough slots. Oh dear. Okay, hold on. Maybe I need to change this to have the better radio. Oh, we already got the better radio. Crap. I was hoping I could save some points here and there. I can save some points on the commander. Can I do that with the driver? Is the driver... The driver is way underutilized. And the commander's overutilized. Okay, we're going to change that. I'm going to swap that different radio in. Back to design. Yes, change it. This way, we got still a driver that's kind of overutilized. We got a commander that's kind of overutilized, but at least loading is a bit more on par. Still, we need to look into that power unit. Oh, actually, now they're reliable? We are looking at a tank that has more protection than required. We're looking at a tank that has more turret armor than required. It has more firepower than required, and it has a lot more reliability than required. And that's without expendables. That's nice. I can now get the APBC shells, which have an enormous amount of kinetic penetration. Look at that. They also still want a higher rate of fire. I'm not sure that's something I can really fix for them. Also, I'm not sure how they're going to be using one loader to load this gun, and then the other gun, and the machine gun. That seems like it is a lot of work for just one guy. For the second type of shell, they don't really care. If they get kinetic pen, they like it. So in this case, I guess I could go with capitalistic and get another 19. Boom. Then I can even get another for another 15 cap shells. 113 kinetic pen. Good lord. Finally, machine guns. They don't really care about that much. At least not with that profile that I have selected right now. Still, maybe they want some range on the machine gun to keep the infantry off of them. So let's say I'm going to go with some range, which is typically the tungsten core. And for some shock value, you want the heavy steel core rounds. Then, this is definitely going to help. The stabilized fuel increases the reliability for the power unit. So my score is 122, it's now going up to 135. I can also say, well, that might be a bit much. I want more crew safety. But that's not something that's really required for this tank. They don't really care. As for this, it's going to take away from the power unit, but it's going to improve the running gear. So I think having the purified oil is going to boost it even more. And now we're going to paint this beauty. And we're going to paint it camouflage. That one. Yes, this is the Churchill as I imagine it. Absolutely disastrous. Power to weight ratio is 0.25. We're good. Crew is good. Volume is good. Things that I might still want to change are the engine. Because this thing is not quick. Road speed? Well, I say that. Road speed is 46. Cross country is 20. On paper. And that's with that current engine. That's the 414. If I throw the 447 in... Oh, sorry, the 474. Yeah, that doesn't cut it. Power to weight ratio is not going to get it. The 475 here is the same problem. So it has to be that beefy engine. But maybe, with the newer parts, I can get a beefier engine in. This one is not good enough. Okay, make a copy of that engine. I want to see if I can improve it some. Because there are new parts available. Let's go. Okay, what do we get? We get a forced cycle radiator. I can make it slightly heavier. Not by much. I can take up a bit more volume, and I have a lot of that. It's going to come at the expense of the power unit, though. The power unit reliability. So that's something that they typically don't like as much. Tough. You can't have everything. It's going to be 42. If I swap it over to this one, it's going to be 26. They don't like that. I'm going to be optimizing for this, so maybe the pump-cooled radiator is the better option here. This one's going to give me a 9. Operational range is worsening. I don't know if they care about that. Operational range is 40. Especially with our better fuel, that shouldn't be that much of a problem. Anything else that can increase the power unit? Not really, so let's look at mobility again. Cross country 30, road speed 40, supposedly. And we are using the tier 3 2. We can go with the tier 3 3, getting a bit better obstacle slope angle. This thing is never going to be stealthy. Well, 28 is actually not terrible. Okay, let's stick with what we have. We are currently using something that has a pretty high power unit stability score, or repairability. I can go one higher with the compact flywheel. Sorry, wide contact flywheel. Which... I'm not sure if it's really going to do that much for me. This has the obstacle trench. 32 would be going to 35. Obstacle slope angle is really good. Yeah, I think this is slightly better. And then the gearbox. I can make it a reinforced gearbox, which will remove 1 mechanic point. I don't think I need to have more or fewer mechanics, but... Well, actually, if I pick this one, I'm going to be sacrificing some road speed, but I need 2 mechanic points less. Which means I can repurpose part of my mechanic. That sounds bad, but hear me out. If I have a mechanic loader, I can potentially up the rate of fire. See? 4 for 2. And firepower is something that they want, especially ROF. So now that I have the mechanic kind of superfluous, I can make it a mechanic loader, and now I got a really good rate of fire. 67 rounds a minute on 2 guns. Don't ask me. I don't know. This is a 76mm, and then we got a 6-pounder. I do have a new gun coming up, but it's not quite ready yet, I think. Because I believe we're still research... No, actually we have it. This is the new gun. Oh, my bad. This has a score of 490, this has a score of 513. So 1938 modern. I wonder if we can improve that more. Give me the different gun. Okay. We are able to add a simple muzzle brake, which is going to boost accuracy. Accuracy is something that I don't think they really care about for an infantry tank. For a bunker smasher, perhaps. But for the infantry tank that I'm selecting, don't think they really care. They just, well, they do want it accurate. Okay, so this is going to help. There we go. Rate of fire is not as good. I can get the gun elevation and the rate of fire up, although not much. The primary repairability is not as good. This is the reliability, and this... Okay. They don't really care about reliability, they care about ROF. Jesus, you can get some pretty decent ROF with this. But this is an overall better stat at 137. The stabilized optics. I can get that to comfortable optics, which will increase accuracy even more. No, actually it'll decrease it. This one is the better one. This one is comfortable, which is lovely, but it doesn't do enough for me. Okay, and then the breach. I have the option to go with the improved breach block. Yeah, let's go for that. The ROF on this thing is going to be off the charts. How much can we shoot with this thing? 72 rounds a minute. Holy shit, dude. Also, I don't need as many loader points anymore because I changed that. Nice. Can I also change this gun, or is this using the best parts? Make a copy of that. Once this Churchill is done, we're going to have an absolute freak of a tank with monstrous levels of firepower. Monstrous, I say. Okay, infantry tank, yes. 154. That's the decent accuracy, that's the reinforced mechanism. They already installed the muzzle brake, that's good. 169, 160, yeah, I'm going to stick with 169. Even more rate of fire. The comfortable optics, 174. Just optimize for the numbers. 174, sold for 174. Back to design. Okay. As for the tracks, I don't think we have any better running gear unlocked. We're working on... Or, well, we were working on running gear. This is not a Churchill. This is the Churchill dual gun. What a freak of a tank. Oh, I forgot this one. I think I picked this diesel fuel. Boom, 161. Over. Yeah. I wonder if this thing will sell. I also wonder if this thing is... What? It has 12,000 man-hours? That's it? That's insane. Because... Well, actually, no. It has 24,000 man-hours. Yeah, that's more likely. It also cost me 27k. I think this thing is way more than clients are actually really going to require. That might give me the option of going with a potential really high price. I just don't know if it's over-engineered. It probably is. Given what I have done to this tank, it's probably way over-engineered. I'm also going to build a version without that secondary gun. I wonder if that's going to do something for the rate of fire. Yes, sorry, I need to engineer it first. A freak Churchill. But hey, if you let me do it, I'm gonna do it. Okay, engineer that gun. And let's see if we can actually find a buyer for this peculiar looking vehicle. And here it is in all of its glory, the Churchill dual gun system. What do we have? Well, we got a very snappy turret on this one, I'll grant you that much. This thing turns. The tank, for what it's... well, for the type of tank, I'd say it's pretty quick. I tried to design a faster Tetrarch, that was slower than this. And this is supposed to be an infantry supporting tank, so doing 20 kph is definitely going to keep up with the infantry. We have shells which are, and I still think this is weird, somehow shared between these two guns. Like, if I fire this one, that also takes one of the ammunition loadout for the second gun. I still think that needs a bit of addressing, because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. This is not, however... whoa, that snaps around fast. Agility is good. The T-34 tracks are remarkably useful for lots and lots of different tanks. They're just really good tracks. They're versatile, they can carry a lot, they can, if you power them right, be very snappy. So, whoops. Yeah, I do like this tank. It's expensive to build, man-hour wise. So if I want to have somebody actually be interested in this tank, I think we're going to have to charge a hefty premium for it. But hey, maybe someone's just crazy enough to buy one. Test drive done. Is anybody actually interested in this monster of a tank? The Dutch have been rearming like crazy. They really want a lot of tanks. I've been selling them Tetrarchs, I've been selling them T-34s. It is 1940, after all, so I understand why they're getting a bit jumpy about the Germans. The Matilda, the heavy Matilda is actually an option. I think they'd be willing to pay quite a lot for that. That's a $2.7 million contract. I can push it to 4.2. This thing... it has too high of a score. That's what I was worried about. It has too high of a score. I'm also going to be looking at man hours. This is 21,000 man hours per tank. This is 24,900. That means this tank is actually way over-engineered, much as I expected. If I just offer them a T-34, they're also going to be perfectly happy with it. So the Matilda is, well, more expensive relative to the T-34. There are, however, plenty of other contracts. I want to see if it stacks up to a multi-purpose. Because it's, well, it's not going to be won by that one. It does, kind of. It does, kind of. However, if I want to offer them many, many tanks with a high deadline, I don't think I can really turn this into a very profitable contract. Not if I take that long to build them. That's a 3.3 million. It's not that interesting. What else? The polyvalent tank. Yeah, they do really like it. Look at that firepower. They're looking for looking for 416, and I'm offering them 620. This thing has so much firepower that it's just way over the top. But then again, so is the T-34. The T-34 is good enough. It doesn't need a whole lot more. It's good enough. What would they think about the Matilda? They don't like it. It doesn't have the protection. Yeah, that makes sense. Other contracts that it might fit for? What about the stopgaps? Because I'm seeing a lot of stopgap contracts. Here's a big one. What are we going to offer them here? Oh, they do quite like it. It doesn't have enough protection. Really? You're not getting protection on the turret? You need 100 millimeters on your turret? Wow. That's... yeah. That's a lot. Also, you want a load of kinetic resistance. Okay. I guess if I sacrifice that second gun, I can do that. Because I then just displace some weight. It is going to come at the firepower hard stat, so I won't get that bonus. But I might be able to make up for that deficit. The thing is, I don't know if I want to sell it to them at this rate. It's a 4.7 million contract, so it's pretty lucrative. But building them takes a while. I think all these stopgaps have the same role. You guys want another 18 tanks. I think the Matilda is... well, the Matilda is good enough. T-34 is more than good enough. And that's the V1. The version 1. The V3 is going to be way over-engineered. I kind of need to down-engineer the V1. The T-34. It's too strong. At any rate, the Matilda and the heavy Churchill are interesting offerings, but actually over-engineered. They're too powerful, they're too strong for the job, and they take too many man-hours to build. Nevertheless, I think it's an interesting tank. I always like to get a good laugh out of these things. And just having this dual gun Churchill with T-34 tracks, and I think the wrong turret, I like it. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this heavy Churchill dual gun, and I shall see you soon for episode 6.